Good morning. It's nice to be with you today. When we were asked to talk with you today about giving, I thought about how we learn to give and how we do this and what makes this part of who we are. And I thought about my childhood. I think this is where we all begin, where it all begins, and it did with me. You know, I grew up in the country on a farm, and we gave. We gave what we had. We gave to our neighbors. We gave to the shut-ins. We gave to people in need. And as I said early, we gave to the preacher. Boy, he loaded up every year. He got the first sausage and the leanest pork chops and the prettiest tomatoes every year. That's who we were. Mitchell and I were very fortunate that we were part of families that went to church and that gave to the church. Mitchell and his sister Jane talk about when they were young and they would go to Sunday school and church, and the same thing happened to me, that our parents made sure we had money for our Sunday school class and that we had money when we went to church to put in the plate when it was passed. We have tried to do this with our children. We have been members of this church for over 40 years. I started coming when I was a student at UNCG. This congregation, the staff and the ministers of this church has sustained our family in sickness and in health. Each of you sitting in this room know what this church has meant to you and how you have been nurtured and supported by this church through the years. When I think about my faith, and when I think about what it means to me, and when I think about the blessings that are poured out and the grace that comes to us each and every day, I only know of one way to respond, and that is to give back. Mitchell and I take this seriously. We think about it, and we've done this every year. We have also tried to instill this and impart this into our children and our grandchildren, the importance of being thankful and the importance of giving back.
Good morning. I'm Chad Oakley, and as you might imagine from that story that my mother just told, as a child, I learned a lot about life on the farm when I was a kid. I've never milked a cow, but I'd like to think, based on all the lessons I was taught about milking cows, that if push came to shove, I could do it. My parents taught myself and my sister and my brother about giving through the modeling, the behavior itself, right? For those of you who have children, and what a perfect day for us to talk about this, right? Today is the day in which we celebrate children at the church. You know that you can tell your children to do a lot of things, but it's when you model that behavior that they best learn it. And I learned about giving by my parents modeling that behavior for me. Every Sunday, my father would hand out dollar bills to myself and to my sister and my brother, and we would put those dollar bills in the collection plate. And this became a very important ritual for us as a family, to the point where I would often look to my father before that time even came, sometimes before we even left home, and I'd say, "Hey, Dad, you got my dollar?" Right? That was a big deal. And then on those days when they gave there was a special collection, right, for Pennies for Hunger or some of those other things, my parents would allow me to decide, did I want my dollar to go into the general fund or did I want it to go to the special collection? And while it was a tiny bit of empowerment, it felt special to me. And that ritual is something that I have tried, my wife and I, Mindy and I, have tried to pass down to our children. Even though we give every month through a bank draft, I always strive to bring $1 to hand to my children to teach them the importance of giving. And on those Sundays when I forget, and I do forget from time to time, I feel just a tiny bit of emptiness for forgetting because I remember how important it was for me when I was a child. And so I do believe that giving is a generational thing. It's up to all of us to teach our kids the importance of giving and to talk about why we do it. So, Summer, what are we leaving out?
Where's my dollar?